Fusebox, number 142, Pandemaniacs. And you? Might want to have that looked at.
Yeah, you better get in line. A very long line, I'm told.
When you have 15 people, and the 15 within a couple of days is going to be down to close to zero, that's a pretty good job we've done.
Oh, shut up! Welcome in, friends, to this, a social distancing special edition of Fusebox number 142, sanitizingly entitled Pandemaniacs. And,
Hey, I'm digging the beekeeper suit, bro.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Keynes. Safety first, I always say. You know, just doing my part. And I am your germ-free, because who really wants to pay for those things anyway? Host, Mark Rose, and over there, way over there, in another room for the love of Forbish, is the desiccant of the mucous membranes, the deacon of dials himself, Milt Keynes, everybody.
Thank you kindly. Hey, you know, I know that this is a fucked up as hell time, but frankly, I'm really digging the enforced isolation.
Yeah, I believe you would, Mr. Keynes. You're not the frolicking social gadfly type.
The what?
Well, you know, kind of a loner.
Oh, yeah. Well, I am at times, man.
Well, would that be between the hours of 12 a.m. and 11:59 p.m.?
I don't know. Let me do some math here.
Well, suffice to say that you're just a wee bit antisocial, so times like these kind of fit right into your comfort zone.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. What about you, though?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm all too familiar with the vacuum of isolation. I tend to work in it almost daily, so not really any adjustment necessary for me, at least on that front. However,
Sucks being broke.
I mean, as you all must know, everything in the entertainment world, for the most part, has shut down production-wise. I mean, big studios and small ones, independent filmmakers and gigging musicians and stage performers are all suffering massively right now as this COVID-19 thing ravishes the globe.
They say help is coming.
Well, yes, the $2 trillion relief package was signed a few days back and should be finding its way into the bank accounts of most Americans within a few weeks, they say. Most receiving upwards of $1,200, which might place a Band-Aid on that hemorrhaging gut wound for a short time, but it's only that. Short-term fix.
You know, the thing is, though, a lot of places don't have restrictions on foreclosure or eviction. You know, some may find that that shelter-in-place thing kind of useless if you don't have a shelter to in-place at.
Yeah. And, you know, we're most fortunate in Oregon in that respect, and particularly in this area that we live. There are big restrictions in place to prevent foreclosure and eviction during disasters or for emergencies, such as this lovely time we're in. Friends, after a bit of a reset...
And a fifth of bourbon.
We'll be back and look at some of the wondrous and not-so-wondrous stuff going on in this time-space conflation. But first, frequent collaborator and avid mushroom enthusiast, Jodi Lorimer, sent a spoken word piece in...
Oh, really?
Yes, Mr. Keynes. She sent in this very thoughtful...
Oh, no, man. Can she hook me up with some...
Oh, no, not those kind of shrooms. The kind you put in pasta and on salads and stuff.
Well, no, never mind.
God. So, Jodi sent in this most insightful piece dealing with our present quarantine light condition. And I had the grand pleasure to twiddle with it, make appropriate vague noises, and get it into this show. So, Without further ado, or a chew, or whatever, here's Jodi Lorimer's Contagion.
It feels like sitting on a beach overlooking a flat sea, with endless numbers of others spaced 6 feet apart, all staring at the ocean, waiting for the tsunami they know will come from across the world. Behind them, the snow is melting and birdsong wafts from the treetops. Snowdrops and daffodils emerge. Freshets of meltwater trickle from the rocks. The air is fresh, blowing gently and clean. How can it be now, in the face of gentle spring, that this is happening? The busy skies are quiet, not crisscrossed with vapor trails of chemicals. The rumblings of traffic are stilled. The normal bustling outside is stagnant. We wait, breathless, to discover if we truly, finally, lose our precious breath. It is an oppression unlike any other, an invisible and silent demon coming for us. We have no defenses but soap and distance, at a time when all that is wanted is to fall into each other's arms, to embrace in love, friendship, and comfort. To dance together in a defiant circle, hands clasped and sweating with joyous exertion. It is also what the demon wants, and what it needs to live. And so, is forbidden. It is the hardest for our elders, our frail, who most need our help and holding, and now must face their brief future alone. A fearful hand with none to hold it. No safe place to cry for the world they are leaving that has held such joy and sorrow for them. To see that world overwhelmed and suffocated by an invisible miasma, passed from hand to hand with a kind gift of flowers, a bottle of wine, or a kiss. To worry for their children and their children's children. The children, acting like children, think they're safe, that it will pass over them and move on, leaving them to grow old and worry some other day about a new ravaging, for there will be one. We open roads into places where we have never been before, places riotous with strange life we have never encountered. We bring our blood, our flesh, and our moist, warm bodies, incubators for this strange life, until now, laying quietly in festoons of deep vines, damp, undisturbed leaf litter on the forest floor, in places where the sun has never shone. A feast unknown till now, released. We slash and burn triumphantly and bring the sunlight, the dusty air, the machinery to loose the invisible demon, never realizing it has won by only waiting for eons for us to set it free. We begin to fail, to fall, to clasp a friend's hand and take them down with us, and that friend takes the hand of another who falls. When you are the most virulent virus on the planet, Gaia's survival strategy is to loose another, to probe our soft places, our selfishness, vanity, and greed, and take our breath away. Without us, with fewer of us, the air clears. The birds can hear each other calling in the parks. Our machines are stilled and their damage halted. the air above us clears, and Gaia can breathe.
Extremely well-written piece there from Jodi Lorimer, read by her as well and tinkered with by yours truly. Love these kinds of things. I hope you do as well, friends, as we do like to feature the spoken word kind of thing frequently on this program, even when we're not in a semi-lockdown environment. Alrighty, so as we know, there is a lot of fear and confusion, at the least, whirling around us these days, and some folks have decided to make lemonade out of these virulent lemons.
Yeah, but should you really drink that, though? I mean,
Well, let's ask the experts.
I think really would have been imprudent.
Yeah, well, there you have it. Thank you, Dr. Fauci.
that kind of clears it up for me.
So, around this globe, folks have been doing things to minimize the panic wherever possible, and in many clever ways, it would appear. I think one of the first ones that hatched up out of this thing, just good common sense, came out of the great state of Kentucky, where the local distillers there...
They got one or two.
Yes, they do. Well, they stepped up, saw a need, and filled it.
I saw what you did there.
Thank you. So they started to create hand sanitizer from the byproducts of the distillation process. Alcohol is usually, from what I'm told, is about 60% in most hand sanitizer formulations, so it was a natural fit, you might say. They started distributing this stuff immediately. To my knowledge, for free, too. I don't think they were making any scratch on that deal.
Might want to hold on to one or two of those things, though, you know? I mean, collectors will be going out of their damn minds to get one of those Pappy Van Winkle limited edition hand sanitizers.
Could be correct, Mr. Keynes. It's a voracious market for such things. Been my experience that the distillers community in that part of the country are most generous folks, and genuinely so. There are many stories of those cats helping out other distillers during a disaster or emergency situation, you know.
Well, you were telling me about that one place that burned down and nearly lost all their barrels in that fire.
Yeah.
And while it was being rebuilt, the folks around there chipped in and helped rebuild it, even storing the remaining barrels for the guy while he got back up on his feet.
And I'm also happy to report that Portland here has also stepped up to produce the sanitizers. We've got one or two distilleries around here, as has Atlanta and North Carolina. So supermarkets have also stepped up, offering slots reserved for the elderly to make sure they don't miss out on essentials. Some banks are taking similar steps, provided they're open. And air pollution has plummeted in cities with high rates of quarantine. Satellite readings, apparently, of air pollution levels over China and Italy show that the regions hit hardest by the COVID-19 thingy have also caused air pollution levels to decline dramatically. Some reports estimate that China's quarantine has saved more than 100 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions from entering the atmosphere, which is about the equivalent of what Chile produces in 1 year. Not only have similar effects been reported across Italy, the canals and waterways of Venice are reportedly cleaner than ever, with the waters shining crystal clear in the absence of diesel-powered boats and gondoliers. Big surprise.
Well, that right there, that is a big plus. Of course, they might find some missing mob guys now.
Grim.
But true.
Seeing an opportunity to improve their somewhat dicey optics at times, Uber Eats is helping out the American restaurant industry by waiving delivery fees for 100,000 restaurants as restaurants across Canada and the U.S. are forced to temporarily shut down amidst COVID-19 outbreaks. It's It's a thing. It's a bad situation. Boober says, "We know the success of every restaurant depends on customer demand. That's why we're working urgently to drive orders towards independent restaurants on Eats to help make up for the significant slowdown of in-restaurant dining. As more customers are choosing to stay indoors, we've waived the delivery fee for more than 100,000 independent restaurants across the U.S. and Canada on Uber Eats. We will also launch daily, dedicated, targeted marketing campaigns, both in-app and via email, to promote delivery from local restaurants, especially those that are new to the app."
Gotta tell you, bro, I think Portland just did them one better.
Oh, yeah? Well, do tell, Mr. Keynes.
Boober Eats. Yep. Yeah, that whole lemonade thing. Well, close down the strip clubs and dancers will do delivery, according to reporting by Samantha Swindler at the Oregonian. The Lucky Devil Lounge in Portland was, of course, forced to close down due to Governor Kate Bush's mandate to stem the spread of coronavirus. But the order does allow food establishments to offer takeout delivery. And thus was born club owner Sean Bolden's newest business, Boober Eats.
You gotta love innovation, right?
Says here that the home delivery service, in which a pair of scantily clad strippers will deliver hot food to your door, started as a joke Bolden posted on social media. When people began seriously inquiring about orders, Bolden saw potential. So while the rest of Portland was hoarding toilet paper and pasta, he bought out one local store's stock of pasties. So all dancers are driven and escorted by a security guard, and there's at least one rule that carries over from the strip club to a pandemic. No touching the dancers. About 25 dancers have started doing Boober, Bolden said. Even with deliveries, many of the dancers doing Boober runs have gone from making several $100s a night to earning close to minimum wage.
Ooh.
Losing this job is devastating, said Kiki, who started her first Boober shift on Friday. For the majority of us, it's been an almost complete loss of income. I'm here supporting my community and trying to keep maintaining an income flow as best as we can. Bolden said he's trying to employ as many people as possible during the club shutdown. The kitchen staff are cooking orders, security guards are driving dancers to deliveries, bartenders are now working the phones and maintaining social media.
Yes, you do, in fact. Gotta love innovation.
You know, I think I'm feeling a bit peckish.
Got a hankering for a corn dog, do you?
Maybe.
And in the just for fun, because it'll distract you from sneezing, is this gem from O'Reilly Auto Parts. If you follow the link we have conveniently placed in the show notes here.
Doing our part too.
Yes. Yes, such helpful and thoughtful folks we are here at Fusebox. Yes, if you click on that link, it will take you to a page on the O'ReillyAuto.com site that offers this marvelous invention, the Gigawatt Flux Capacitor, with a description of said capacitor that reads, "Time travel at your own risk." Plutonium is required to properly operate the capacitor. Plutonium is used by the onboard nuclear reactor, which then powers the flux capacitor to provide the needed 1.21 gigawatts of electrical power. Plutonium not available at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Please contact your local plutonium supplier. Flux capacitor requires the stainless steel body of a 1981 to 1983 DeLorean DMC-12 to properly function. Once the time machine travels at 88 miles an hour, or 142 kilometers per hour, light coming from the flux capacitor pulses until it becomes a steady stream of light, at which point time travel begins.
Now, does this come with Christopher Lloyd?
Well, maybe a blow-up version.
Huh. Could be fun.
However, as we know, for all the wondrously creative and positive steps folks are taking towards dealing with these times, there are stories like this. A Florida church was packed with worshipers Sunday, despite a local, quote, safer at home order designed to help curb the spread of COVID-19, reports CBS Tampa affiliate WTSP-TV. A live stream of the service at The River at Tampa Bay Church showed its crowded main sanctuary. WTSP says the sheriff told church leaders they were in direct violation of the order, which was issued by Hillsborough County officials and went into effect the Friday before. It requires that businesses and organizations considered essential abide by social distancing guidelines and keep people 6 feet away from each other or shut down. Attorneys for local officials and the church were working to resolve things as quickly as possible. In a statement posted earlier this month on Facebook and on its website, the church explained why it's keeping its doors open when so many other places across the state and nation are closing. The statement read in part, quote, "In a time of national crisis, we expect certain institutions to be open and certain people to be on duty. We expect hospitals to have their doors open 24/7 to receive and treat patients. We expect our police and firefighters to be ready and available to rescue and to help and to keep the peace. The church is another one of those essential services. It's a place where people turn for help and for comfort in a climate of fear and uncertainty. Therefore, we feel it would be wrong for us to close our doors on them at this time or any time. In a time of crisis, people are fearful and in need of comfort and community more than ever before.
Christ on a cracker.
And that not to be undone by this reckless bunch, how about this one? In his sermons and his online show, Howard Brown has been flogging serpentine conspiracy theories about the novel coronavirus, claiming it's a bioweapon created by China to destroy the U.S. economy, that testing for it does not work, and that any vaccine will be a sham. Quoting, "The World Health Organization has come in and is using a pandemic to take over not just America, but the whole of the world," he blustered on his Tuesday night show. He claims the state order barring large gatherings doesn't apply to the church because he considers it an essential service and that it infringes on freedom of religion. Hillsborough County Sheriff Chad Chronister said, "His reckless disregard for human life put hundreds of people in his congregation at risk, and thousands of residents who may interact with them this week in danger." Chronister said at a press conference announcing Howard Brown's arrest. The sheriff noted the River Church could just have live-streamed the service to its 4,000 members like many other religious institutions are doing. "I believe there's nothing more important than faith during a time like this," Chronister said. "And as a sheriff's office, we would never impede someone's ability to lean on their religious beliefs as a means of comfort. But practicing those beliefs has to be done safely." Howard Brown, who just 2 weeks ago declared the church would, quote, "never close," was charged with 2 misdemeanors on Monday after he failed to heed warnings by the Hillsborough County Sheriff. Howard Brown kept his followers guessing for 2 days about whether he would risk rearrest by inviting them to pack into the church, where he claims he installed machines to prevent them from being infected. But on his Wednesday show, he finally revealed that he, in fact, had shut down the building on Monday and would not reopen it, saying he didn't want church staff or members to be arrested, and floating the insane idea that an outsider infected with the coronavirus might show up to a service and try to make his faithful sick. "I'm not caving," said Howard Brown, who was free on $500 bail I have to do this to protect the congregation, not from the virus, but from the tyrannical government.
Well, I'm sure they'll all be very comfortable in those pine boxes, or maybe a Ziploc body bag.
These kinds of things are just a little difficult to understand. I know they think they're doing the good work, but in fact, you just slipped the exploding banana to 4,000 people. Look, it doesn't matter that you don't feel any effects. Good on ya! But you could be carrying this virus. And you could pass it along to someone who has a more deficient immune system. That's all we're saying. Well, we're saying that, but we're also saying...
What the fuck, Florida?
Ay, friends. And with that cautionary poot, we grab our hazmat suits, resplendent in canary yellow, with assorted PVC hoses and stylish rubber outerwear, and flippy-flop into the garage, but not before thanking our contributors to this edition of Fusebox, Nico Lane for saying what we're all thinking anyway, and Jodi Lorimer for insightful commentary during these most interesting times. Friends, interesting. Thanks are in abundant supply to the Surgeon General of Sonic Pathways, Milt Keynes, for technical assistance and keen social distancing mastery.
My pleasure, as always. And again, folks, please stay healthy and stay smart.
Yes, indeed. Well, we know the smart part is working. They're listening to us. Yes, but also, if you have not otherwise done so, please take a moment to subscribe and, yes, even like and rate with 63 stars or whatever this humble program from wherever you may have come upon its murmuring voices. We so appreciate this. You also might, if you can, these days, just take a gander at the Fusebox store, link conveniently in the show notes down there, as well to be found at thefuseboxshow.com, located in the little menu tab down there. Just click on the shopping tab, or from the Book of Face, right there in the masthead, or thereabouts anyway, a Shop Now button can be and should be pushed to whisk you away to the wondrous land of Fusebox merch. Which, seriously, friends, during these days, really helps.
Every little bit.
So, we thank you for your time and indulgence. I have been your wrapped in plastic to preserve freshness host, Mark Rose, saying, stay safe and until our next cartoon. Fuse.